Part 2! Part 2 of the top best games of all time according to my brain. This is games number 10 through 1. Let's just get into it, shall we? Coming in at number 10 is Celeste. Celeste is one of my favorite 2D platformers of all time. One of the best of the modern era for sure. Untouchable by most modern day indie platforming games, and there's really no non-indie platforming games these days, so that pretty much makes it king, or queen, I guess. Celeste is a mix of a beautiful, touching, yet simple story with incredibly tight and technical controls, which is a perfect mix for a platforming game. It always really comes down to the gameplay, and especially so in a platforming game. And in Celeste, it's deep, it's technical, and it's somehow still newbie friendly, it's speedrunner friendly, it's good for all levels of skill, and the game itself has so many accessibility options just for various different skill levels and assists that it's perfect for literally anybody. I already gushed about this many times in reviews, on streams, in my other video about the top 10 indie games, so I like Celeste. Let's just go on. Going to number 9 is me cheating the list by putting the two Zelda Oracle games together, because really, they form a cohesive whole to create a truly brilliant final product. Not in the way that Pokemon cheats and releases two games and just has different, like, oh, I can't catch a Sandshrew in this version. No, Zelda released two full games, and I to this day remain that they are the most underrated Zelda games of all time. Really, just damn near perfect top-down 2D Zelda exploration, great stories, great dungeons. Seasons is great for the overworld and all of the overworld trading system and the people you meet and exploring, and then Ages is great for the dungeons. The dungeons in Ages are just some of the best I think the series has ever really had, if I'm being honest with you. And they're both fantastic, and when you beat one, you load up your save file in the other game using one of those classic password systems that we used to love back in the late 90s. And then you have this entire fuller experience, you get the true ending, which is why I'm cheating and combining the two games together. But I love top-down Zelda games. They're probably my favorite type of Zelda game to this day, and I think the Oracle games don't get the credit they deserve because they are truly just masterpieces. Come on, Nintendo, you already remade Link's Awakening, remake the Oracle games next. You know you want to do it. Is this hypnotic? Does this work? Does this do anything for you? Coming in at number 8 is Pokemon Gold and Silver. This one is not cheating to combine these games at all because, like I said just a second ago, they're the same game. Particularly Pokemon Gold was the one I played as a youth, so that's the one that I'm more drawn to. I honestly couldn't even tell you the true difference between the two of them, except that I think you get both legendary birds, if I remember correctly, but in reverse order. I'm sure someone will very quickly correct me if I'm wrong about that. It is my favorite Pokemon game by far. It's a mix of nostalgia and perfect timing in my life. My first Pokemon game was Pokemon Yellow, and it helped teach me how to read as a kid. I got this game, I think, for my birthday. I remember getting it as an early present and bringing it to school and being the coolest kid in 2nd and or 3rd grade for that day. And it's such a crowning moment, and playing through Pokemon Gold over and over again. I've done Nuzlocke runs of it on this channel. It just remains my favorite Pokemon game, and you cannot beat that post game. The entirety of the original game as the post game for the second game, I remain to this day with the opinion that Pokemon Gold and Silver has the best post-game of a game. All games could aspire to have this levels of post-game content. The only one that really comes close to me is Celeste, which has all of these amazing extra levels to do, which is almost a second game in and of itself. But Pokemon Gold literally has a second game as the post-game, as well as its Pokemon. Pokemon is adorable. I couldn't tell you why no other Pokemon has ever really gripped me in this way. Again, nostalgia, perfect timing in my life, whatever it is, just for me, Pokemon Gold is the gold standard of Pokemon. Oh, I just made that up on the spot. God, I'm so good. Coming in at number 7 is one of my most played games of all time, The Binding of Isaac. I'm just gonna group all the Binding of Isaacs together. Today's theme of the list is just cheating by grouping what are technically many different games into one cohesive package so that I can cram extra games on my list. But The Binding of Isaac, Rebirth, Afterbirth, Afterbirth Plus, soon to be Repentance, and not so much the original because I didn't start playing until Rebirth. Shout out to my good friend Hesse, who never watches any of my videos that I know of, but he got me hooked on The Binding of Isaac, so I owe him for literally hundreds of hours of enjoyment, which are amateur hours compared to what most people have put into The Binding of Isaac. The Binding of Isaac is, of course, the gold standard for roguelites. Doesn't really work as well as Pokemon Gold, but yeah, that's fine, whatever, it's not always gonna work. There's no other roguelite that I've ever been so addicted to. There's few other games that I've ever been so addicted to, particularly games that don't have at least a multiplayer or competitive aspect. Binding of Isaac is like the perfect roguelike to me. Many different branching paths, many different varied characters, different game modes, all sorts of different item synergies. Every run is unique and different. Some are completely overpowered and you feel like this undestructible god, and other times you're just struggling, putting all of your skill to the test, trying to make a bad run work because you can't lose that 5 streak that you finally got going. And then you do, because God, I've never gotten over a 5 streak. Coming in at number 6 is Donkey Kong Country, particularly the first one, but again, if we're just gonna cheat this whole list, let's just say the whole series. But particularly number 1, and kind of number 2, and I've never really played number 3, to be honest with you. Donkey Kong Country was at the time, and remains to this day, some of the best platforming you can find of all time. It would be hard for me to compare it to Celeste, which has come out 2 decades later and had 2 decades worth of time to learn and grow, versus Donkey Kong Country, which was completely innovative at the time, and not just in the gameplay, which in and of itself was so incredibly fun and tight and technically proficient. And again, like I said, it's good for beginners, it's good for experts, it's littered with tons and tons of secrets to explore, but it was also revolutionary in the graphics, in the music. I will, to this day, turn on Donkey Kong Country soundtrack because it is like a top 5 soundtrack. Top 3 soundtrack, really? I mean, like Chrono Trigger, Zelda, Donkey Kong Country, these are the greatest soundtracks of like all of video gaming to me. I guess I just spoiled the top 10 video game soundtrack video though. Damn. Coming in number 5 is the game that I might have spent the most time on in my entire life. Tetris. Tetris is a game that just kind of transcends games. Everybody loves Tetris. Your mom loves Tetris, your grandma loves Tetris, everybody in the world loves Tetris. It's literally a global phenomenon of a game. Everybody knows it. People who don't game know it and have probably played it before. You know, I'm okay at it. I'm not like crazy world record setting competition levels, but I do all right in Tetris 99. I got some wins, you know. Tetris is a game where I find myself every couple years I get a hold of a copy of Tetris, whether it's online or a 3DS or the Switch, wherever it is. I just encounter Tetris in the wild and then re-fall in love with it and spend like another 100 hours playing it until I get just as good as I was the last time when I quit, till I can get to where I can play for like an hour straight on a single run, and then slowly drift away, but I can always come back to it. I kind of want to play it right now that I've mentioned it. Like, it's got its permanent hold on it. I will be 85 years old and I will still be playing Tetris. And coming in at number 4 is yet another game that I have spent so much time playing. It's Minecraft. Minecraft is another game that really just breaks the mold in all ways imaginable. There's so many games out there that are the same, and some of them are like the best of their version, but Minecraft is its own unique thing. Nothing compares to Minecraft. At least nothing did when it originally came out. Games have tried. Lego World certainly tried and failed. Terraria isn't really a Minecraft clone, although some people brand it as that, but it is a different experience. Terraria is a great game too. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, but Minecraft. But that Minecraft though. Do you like to build? Do you like to explore? Do you like to adventure? Do you like to fight big epic boss battles? Minecraft has it all. I've been playing Minecraft since alpha, when it was literally just go explore caves, get coal, get iron, maybe get diamonds, build a castle out of cobblestone, and that was like the whole entirety of the game when I started playing, and I put hundreds of hours into that alpha. I think I played Minecraft religiously for almost 2 years, all the way through like the beginning of senior year of high school to the end of freshman year of college, and then I drifted away from it, and recently, as fans of this channel will know, re-sparked my interest in it, and I've already put another 100 or so hours into it, just spread over the last couple of months. Pretty much when I'm not working, I was just playing Minecraft again, because there's always stuff to do. There's always creativity to express, always new buildings and ideas to come up with, and as they keep updating the game and adding new blocks, it just expands the very small limits it has on creativity until it's just a perfect open, creative exploration game. It just truly combines so many different elements of so many different fun things so well. It's just hard to compete with Minecraft. Minecraft is a pretty much perfect experience, and one that has been around for a decade, and I hope sticks around for a couple decades more. Coming to number 3, Super Smash Bros. Melee. So there's something you should know about me, viewers, campers, chatters. I have a problem of being addicted to various different competitive games, and many of them just fell slightly short of this list. Your Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2s, your Halo 3s, your Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3s, but no game on that list has ever gripped me for as long and as strongly as Super Smash Bros. Melee. The technical level of depth in Smash Bros. Melee makes it one of the longest running esports games and the officially longest running competitive fighting game that still has active scenes with huge viewership. I mean, sure, you say occasionally people will go hold a Street Fighter Turbo 2 tournament or something, and that's a great game, and it's a fun game. But Melee still has a competitive scene. We do top 100 rankings, we do top 50 rankings. I don't even follow the competitive scene as much as I used to, but I still watch the major tournaments because they're so incredibly fun, and every time I watch pros play Melee, I just want to get my hands on that GameCube controller and start working on my wave dashes again, working on my ledge grabs, working on my edge hogs, working on my gimps with Sheik. I'm a Sheik main. Fight me about it. Really, no, but literally, let's 1v1, you know, tournament stage, best 3 out of 5. Let's take it down. Let's play some Melee, guys. Super Smash Bros. Melee is a really good game. So before we get to number 2, let me preface it with this. Trying to rank my number 1 and number 2 game was very, very difficult, and if you ask me again on a separate day, there is a good chance that my opinion may fluctuate back and forth between the two based on which one I've played more recently or want to play most recently. Both of these are incredible games in all regards, and I think most people would agree with that. But I just want to say that because both of these games I think are absolute masterpieces. I think they're as perfect as a game can be, and I love them both to death, and I think that both of them have enriched my love of video games so very much. So, number 2 for today is Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is one of the few and only turn-based RPGs that I actually enjoy. I played Pokemon, if you count that, which technically you have to, Chrono Trigger, and that is pretty much it. I'm not a big Final Fantasy fan. I'm not a big JRPG fan in general. I've tried to play Secrets of Mana. I've tried to play lots of turn-based RPGs over the years, and just none of them have really gripped me. Chrono Trigger is so good, it is my number 2 game of all time, despite having a combat system that you will find pretty much nowhere else on my top 50 with the exception of Pokemon, and that's a big asterisk by the Pokemon. Chrono Trigger's active battling system keeps things fun, exciting, fresh, keeps you on your toes, keeps you playing in a fast-paced manner that really fixes a lot of the problems I have with some of the JRPGs. It also is a game that doesn't indulge itself in unnecessary grind. Due to many of the side quests, you can constantly be doing things in the game that are productive towards the actual game, furthering the story, and not wasting your time grinding to be able to keep up with later game bosses. Also, strategy goes such a long way in this game that, again, it's not so important as to what level your characters are, as to how well you're assembling your team, which team members you're using, and the team members. God, you just literally fall in love with every single character you encounter in this game. The tragedy of Glenn/Frog, the hero's journey of Chrono, all these characters trying to break the mold, trying to become the greatest that they can become, not because it's what destiny tells them they need to be, but because it's what they should do, it's what they can do. All these characters overcoming tragic backstories, rising to the occasion, saving the world. It's also a mix of sci-fi and fantasy, two of every nerd's favorite things if we're being honest, and it blends them so wonderfully well. I can't even think of another example that so successfully blends these sci-fi and fantasy ideas as this game Chrono Trigger does. The story moves me every time I play it. The combat is addictive every time I play it. And it's just an experience that instantly stuck with me, and it's not a game that I will say is heavily rooted in nostalgia for me either. I first played this game on an iPod Touch. Actually, I have it here in my desk. I first played Chrono Trigger on this. This is a second generation iPod Touch. I was in high school. I think I was a sophomore or a junior at the time. I had a little emulator on this tiny little screen. This is to compare it with a modern phone for you, alright? This is my Galaxy Note 9. This is what I played Chrono Trigger on. I played everything on this. I damn near didn't beat the game because of the section where you have to catch the stupid rat in the future was so impossibly hard to do on this touchscreen that I spent literally hours trying to chase that rat, trying to get frame perfect inputs on this touchscreen emulator. And you know what? It was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in games. I could talk about Chrono Trigger endlessly for hours. I could make videos upon videos about it. I could just turn on a stream and play it all for you right now. But I won't, because we gotta move on to the number one. Coming in at the number one best game of all time for me, it's a game that some of you out there already know. It's The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is a game that has everything for me. It's from my favorite series. It's my favorite game of that series. It has nostalgia because I did play it as a youth, but it's a game that I've played many, many times. It's the single-player game that I've beaten the most in my life. Hands down the most hours ever spent replaying a singular story-based game like this. When Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past came out, Zelda wasn't really defined. Zelda had Zelda 1, and then the only sequel at that point had been Zelda 2, an entirely different experience. People didn't know what would come out next for Zelda. Which style would it go in? What would it be? How would they improve the formula? And man, they make Zelda 1 look like a bad tech demo, like a pilot episode that's shot with $5, and then this is like the real TV show that comes out. The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is such an incredible game and in such an incredible world. And if you never got to experience it as a kid, that moment when you thought you were about to beat the game after beating those first 3 dungeons, and you instead teleport to an entirely different world to then play another 8 dungeons and fight Ganon and go on that perfect hero's journey to immerse yourself in that world, that perfect fantasy fairy tale world that so many stories have told and so few games have ever really captured or made come alive in the way that Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past has, then I kind of genuinely just feel sorry that you're never gonna have that experience. But I think for those of us that have and did, you'll all understand why The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is my number one game. Everything about it's great. The puzzles are great, the world's great, the characters are great, the sense of adventure is great, but just the overall feeling of being in that world, of experiencing that journey, really is what I think games is all about. That escapism, that bringing these worlds to life, exploring and becoming the hero or whatever your fantasy is. And to me, no game's ever truly captured that as well as The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. That's it, that's the list. Those are the top 20 games, in my opinion, as of today. To be honest, my opinions do fluctuate at times. I think I could remake this list in a year or so, and while you would see many of the same games, there would maybe be differences in where they're placed. There would maybe be a few different games that get placed on there. I also have the memory of a goldfish, so there's a chance that there are games that I love and would have put on this list and just completely have forgotten about at the moment. But I will name a couple of extras real quick while we do this little outro bit, just for the hell of it. Coming in at 21, Skate 2, Burnout Paradise, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Fortnite, honestly hate it or love it. I love it. I have loved it and I have hated it, but it's a pretty good game. Guitar Hero 3, Portal 2, Jak 3, God of War, so many more games. I could have made the top 50 games of all time for myself, of games that were impactful to me in some way. But these were the 20 games that I felt really had the biggest impact on me, that left the longest lasting impression. And now that we've gone through all of my games, I would really love to hear what some of your favorite games are. So let me know down below in the comments your top 5 or 10 games. List them out for me below. I'd love to talk to you about what games that you love and why. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, please comment, and please subscribe. I know it sounds cliche, but it does help. As always, I hope you have a wonderful week because you deserve it, because you're all beautiful people. And I will catch you guys in another video or stream. Bye-bye.